If the learning infrastructure is in place, then learning can be made as a part of continuous work process rather than an exceptional exercise for learning. So people can learn on the job and then implement that. Then the most important thing is establishing a knowledge framework and knowledge sharing basically, so that everybody is on the same page.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to FaceTime with Leaders, brought to you by Directors Institute, World Council of Directors. I'm your host, Tanayol, and today we have a truly special guest, Mr. Nitin Gupta, with us. With over 2 decades of experience, Mr. Gupta has successfully navigated the complex worlds of finance, technology, and project management, leading teams through critical transitions and large scale implementations. From optimizing operations at the National Stock Exchange to spearheading transformative projects at Yes Bank, his career has been marked by his ability to balance technical expertise with strategic leadership. Today, we'll dive into Mr. Gupta's journey, his leadership approach, his views on the future of technology and finance, and how he's consistently driven success in high stake environments. It's a pleasure to have you with us, sir, today, and thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Talay, and it's great to be featured on FaceTime with Leaders. This is a very good opportunity, basically. Thanks once again.
Sir, you've had such an impressive journey over the past 20 years, managing high impact projects and leading large teams across the finance and technology sectors. But before all these major milestones, there had to be a moment when you first discovered your passion for this field. So, what sparked your interest in project management and technology? Was there a particular moment or experience early on that made you realize this was the path you wanted to pursue?
See, I was always fascinated by technology right from my school days. In the late 1990s, when the computer programming was just evolving. So we had a programming language called Logo, in which we used to design figures on the screen. That was one of my first exposure to technology, and that fascinated me as a child. And then later on, when I was doing my engineering, in my second year of engineering, there was a great opportunity to attend a trade fair in Delhi, which was on machine tools basically. Now, in that, there was a very fascinating display of cutting huge sheets of steel using water jet machining, and everything was programmed by computer-aided design. So that when I saw that how the computer-aided design was facilitating that, I was very much fascinated and decided that this is the field which I wanted to go basically. Then later on, I was very lucky enough to be early in my career. I was posted in Citibank, London, and therein I was working in the BFSI sector, and I was exposed to huge technology, basically, which was maintaining the all the payment systems of the entire European bank, basically. And therein, when I saw what kind of technology was being implemented and the project management framework which was being used to govern, and it was how it was impacting the economy, really, then it always fascinated me, and then it actually cemented my resolve to go into that field further.
That would have been fascinating to go in at the birth of technology and having a water jet break through steel on a code
Yes,
when you had people earlier doing it
absolutely.
physically. That would have been fascinating for a young guy looking at that, right? So you've had the opportunity to lead teams through some incredibly complex and high stake projects, from treasury trading applications to customer relationship management. So, with such
Correct.
diverse and critical operational areas, I'm sure it takes more than just technical expertise to lead effectively. So, what core leadership principles have helped you navigate these projects and manage your team so successfully?
I think one of the most major parts of leadership is that you should have a shared vision and purpose, basically. So the teams which are working at the ground level do not understand the importance of an organization's vision and purpose. So we have to imbibe that spirit that whatever they are contributing, how are they contributing to the organization's value and purpose, basically. If that is clear, then the way the teams work, they very much get involved into what they are doing basically and work towards that common goal and purpose. The other part is that we should ensure that there is safety and trust within the team. So it is not that you have made a mistake and then you are getting punished for that mistake. Mistakes are a part of everybody's daily routine. You should learn from your mistakes, improvise on them, and that trust has to be built within the team to ensure that that happens very fast, basically.
Yeah.
And then the most important part, I think, of leadership is active listening, because we have to understand what are the problems being faced at the ground level, basically. We are being at the leadership level are devising strategies, but then we have to keep in mind what the lower level teams are doing and what is the problems they are facing, basically, so that we can devise a strategy around them and facilitate their work more. So these are some of the core principles which I have been using, and I am day in and day out using that in my work.
Yeah, I mean, having the core belief and knowing, like you said, to have the trust that someone can make mistakes but still not be afraid to make a choice.
Correct.
That goes a far way. Managing risks effectively is something we all know can make or break a project, especially in large scale technology transformations where the stakes are so high. So, as someone with extensive experience in leading such projects, what steps do you think companies should take to prepare for the unexpected? Like, how can leaders ensure they are equipped to handle the unforeseen challenges that inevitably arise, right, while keeping a project on track?
I think the basic part is that we should have a robust risk assessment framework. And the risk assessment starts right from the requirement phase to the system design phase. Being a technology guy, we have always been ensured that there is a robust risk assessment framework for every part, be it people, be it processes, or be it systems, basically. So I will give you a very classic example that we were doing a large scale technology transformation project in my current organization from a legacy technology to a modern technology. But we were also aware that the current process which is being implemented in the legacy technology might not suffice the way we are doing things in the modern technology. But we said we will try. But we had devised during the risk assessment framework, because we had identified these risks upfront, we had devised an alternate process which would have perfectly fit into the new technology. But we said first we will go with the current technology only. So we tried that, but we were not able to do it. But we were quickly able to switch to the new process because that was identified as a part of our risk assessment framework. We quickly switched to the new process as well as technology, and we saved a lot of cost, time, and effort basically there. Then the next part is that we have to create redundancy in systems. So creating redundancy in systems, the systems today have to be parameterized so that they can handle things basically. And then the next part is that there has to be active knowledge sharing between different teams, because every team cannot forecast the every issue which might happen. So when there is an active collaboration between teams, then we can learn from what they have implemented, and whenever we face an issue, then we quickly address that issue in that issue. So these are some of the principles which we follow during the risk assessment.
True, sir, true. And communication between teams being on the same page, extremely essential, becomes even more important. So, with digital transformation reshaping industries at such a rapid pace, it's becoming clear that having the right technology and tools is only a part of the equation. The real challenge lies in ensuring that teams are equipped with the right skills to navigate this shift effectively. From your experience, how can organizations make sure that teams are prepared for this evolving landscape? And how do leaders ensure that skill development stays ahead of the curve in such a fast moving environment?
Skill development today is very important because the things are changing very fast in today's world, basically. So we always have to do a skill forecasting. So whenever we are starting a project, it's not necessary that the current team is 100% skilled up to meet those challenges which are going to come in the project. So we have to do a skill forecasting and train the teams accordingly. And for enabling that, the most important thing is we should have a robust learning infrastructure. If the learning infrastructure is in place, then learning can be made as a part of continuous work process rather than an exceptional exercise for learning. So people can learn on the job and then implement that. Then the most important thing is establishing a knowledge framework and knowledge sharing, basically, so that everybody is on the same page. So learning, one person learning, that knowledge is distributed across the teams, and there has to be cross-functional teams so that the learning is evenly distributed across the teams.
Yeah.
So that is the point. Yeah.
Yeah, we look at further ahead, but the skills of the team we often don't account for that can the same team handle the new problem?
Right.
So, looking back at your career, you've already accomplished so much, but we all know that growth never stops. So, as you look towards the future, what excites you the most? Are there any specific challenges, innovations, or areas you're eager to explore? Also, with your vast experience in driving change, Do you see yourself taking on a role in the boardroom, shaping strategic decisions at a higher level and influencing the broader vision of organizations?
Yeah, absolutely. See, working in the BFSI sector, I have always been exposed to technology. BFSI sector has always been at the forefront of technology. Now, the new emerging technologies like artificial intelligence, machine learning, data analysis, they're going to play a critical role in every aspect of every industry. And that is going to help us become better. So I am upskilling myself in AI, ML, and data analysis because data analysis is a very powerful tool. With the kind of data which you have today, it helps you analyze situations, policies, procedures, risks, basically, and it helps you devise your strategy, which can be also implemented in the boardroom. So these are some of the things which I'm already upskilling myself, and in future I see myself applying these technologies to for making better decisions and for the organization at the higher level.
That would be a natural process in the future. Sir, with your vast experience managing large scale projects and operational systems, you witnessed firsthand the impact of corporate governance in shaping organizational success. So, looking ahead, how do you think corporate governance will influence the future of the tech and finance industries, especially when it comes to balancing sustainability and compliance?
Today, I feel corporate governance is more compliance driven rather than process driven, basically. Whatever the regulator is telling us, we are implementing that. And there is not 100% involvement of all the stakeholders. So, in future, I think corporate governance is going to focus more on environmental impact accountability. So, there's a very classic example today I'll give you is that in the financial sector, we have come up with a social stock exchange. In the social stock exchange, major organizations can actually contribute to social clauses officially, basically, and they can help the social organizations grow, which is a very great initiative. So, therein we can measure the impact of the environmental accountability there. The next major part in corporate governance is data governance and safety, basically, because a lot of data is there when we are doing a corporate governance framework and ESG framework is a part of that, then data becomes very critical for us. So that data, how that data has to be governed and the policies which have to be defined around that data become very important. And then, like I said in the beginning, stakeholder integration, today mainly the companies and the regulators are focusing, but it has to start right from the grass level. All customers, all employees, all shareholders, all higher management, everybody has to be a part of the standard process of corporate governance, basically, so that everybody is on the same page and we work towards that environmental sustainability, which can be incorporated in the organization.
Very well said, sir. Sir, you had the opportunity to engage with Directors Institute, and many of our audience are curious to hear how these programs have impacted professionals like yourself. Sir, from your experience, how has joining Directors Institute helped shape your approach to leadership, particularly in areas like corporate governance and sustainability?
No, it has been a wonderful experience being associated with Directors Institute because before that I was more of a technology guy rather than a corporate governance guy. But being a part of the Directors Institute has exposed me what is actually corporate governance, how things play out in the boardroom, basically, and how I can contribute it with my previous knowledge of technology in this field, basically. And one of the best things I like about this program is that the course curriculum is very structured and it is easy to learn, and the killing factor here is their live session with the industry leaders. Now, that is mind blowing, and that is something which everybody has to be a part of.
Thank you so much, sir, for those kind words. And it was an incredible conversation today. It's clear that your experience isn't just about leading teams to success, it's also about shaping a thought, which is most important in an organization that impacts the entire industry. Your perspective on balancing innovation, risk, and sustainability is a blueprint for leading organizations. To audience, thank you so much for joining us today on this insightful journey with Mr. Gupta. We hope today's journey has been enriching. Until next time, I hope you guys continue to lead with purpose, strive in your journey, and have fun while you're at it. Thank you so much.
Thank